There is a digital wallet containing roughly $65 billion in Bitcoin that hasn't moved a single cent in 17 years. It belongs to Satoshi Nakamoto, the anonymous creator of the world's largest cryptocurrency. For over a decade, the internet has treated his identity like a parlor game, throwing hundreds of names at the wall based on compelling narratives rather than hard data. In 2014, the media cornered a Japanese-American engineer simply because his birth name was Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto, leading to a geographical and cultural wild goose chase. Recently, an HBO documentary pointed the finger at Peter Todd, a Canadian developer who was only 23 when Bitcoin launched, and who later provided evidence he was out caving and skiing while Satoshi was writing foundational code. Finding the real creator requires throwing out the folklore, ignoring the rumors, and relying entirely on a cold forensic analysis of the data left behind. Enter John Carreyrou. He's the investigative journalist who meticulously dismantled the 83,000 crore Theranos healthcare fraud by exposing that their blood testing machines simply didn't work. Instead of profiling suspects, Carreyrou gathered an archive of over 1.3 million forum posts from the early cypherpunk mailing lists, the digital watering hole for early cryptographers. He started with 34,000 individual users at the top of a data funnel. Satoshi wrote a 9-page white paper and hundreds of emails. By filtering his distinct technical and linguistic quirks through those 1.3 million posts, the data itself zeroes in on exactly one person. The first filter is geographic. When Satoshi mined the very first Bitcoin block in January 2009, he embedded a hidden text note in the code, a headline from the print edition of the London newspaper The Times. The headline read, "Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks." This proved the creator was closely monitoring the British government's response to the collapsing traditional financial system in real time. The second filter is technical. Bitcoin relies on proof of work, where computers solve math puzzles to verify transactions. Satoshi didn't invent this mechanism. He directly adapted it from a 1997 anti-spam system called Hashcash. The inventor of Hashcash is Adam Back, a British computer scientist and cryptographer born in London. While a developer anywhere could theoretically read the Times, Satoshi's choice to use Back's specific British-born system and verify it with a headline from a print edition of a London paper creates a heavy statistical weight toward a creator based in the UK. Carreyrou then applied stylometry, a forensic technique that analyzes a writer's unconscious habits, to the remaining suspects. Satoshi's writing had distinct anomalies. He mixed American and British spellings, consistently confused its with its, and ended sentences with the word also. He even typed 2 spaces after every period, a defining habit of people who learned to type on manual typewriters. But the most revealing quirk was grammatical. Proof of work is a compound noun, meaning it shouldn't have hyphens, yet Satoshi constantly wrote it as proof-of-work. When Carreyrou scanned the entire archive of over 1 million cypherpunk posts for developers who used Hashcash, typed double spaces, mixed British spellings, and misspelled proof of work with hyphens, the 34,000 suspects vanished. Exactly one name remained. Anyone can adopt a pseudonym and mask their IP address, but it is nearly impossible for a human to consistently alter their own subconscious typing reflexes across thousands of messages spanning over a decade. The data points to Adam Back, but the timeline of Back's public communication cements the connection. For over a decade, Back was one of the most vocal members of the cryptography community, posting lengthy, detailed essays obsessing over how to build a decentralized electronic cash system. This is a chart tracking their forum activity. In 2008, the exact moment Satoshi Nakamoto publishes the Bitcoin white paper and begins talking to the world, Adam Back goes completely silent. The man who spent 10 years dreaming of digital cash suddenly has zero public reaction to its invention. Satoshi actively develops Bitcoin until April 2011, when he sends his final email and disappears. Exactly 6 weeks later, Adam Back posts his first public comment about Bitcoin, suddenly returning to the community. Adam Back and Satoshi Nakamoto never speak at the same time. The moment one steps onto the digital stage, the other steps off, perfectly mirroring each other over a 15-year period. Armed with this data, Carreyrou tracked Adam Back to a Bitcoin conference in El Salvador, the first country in the world to adopt the cryptocurrency as legal tender. During a 2-hour sit-down at a hotel lobby, Carreyrou laid out the linguistic fingerprints, the timeline voids, and the hashcash connections. Back denied it all, but his face flushed red and his body language became increasingly defensive. During the conversation, Carreyrou introduced a specific phrase Satoshi once wrote to a fellow developer: "I am better with code than with words." Before Carreyrou could finish his point, Back instinctively interrupted, saying, "I talked a lot." He responded in the first person. Realizing his slip, Back quickly retreated to a rigid, prepared line. "Clearly, I am not Satoshi. That's my position." We do not have the private digital keys to move Satoshi's original $65 billion. But even without that final cryptographic proof, the forensic data, the spelling habits, and the reflexive slips provide an overwhelming investigative burden of proof. Which leaves one question. If Adam Back is Satoshi Nakamoto, why deny it? Why walk away from historic glory and the wealth of a nation? Bitcoin's premise is decentralization, money without governments, banks, or leaders. If the creator is unmasked, they become a central point of failure, a single person who can be subpoenaed, arrested, or pressured by global powers to alter the code. For a system built on total independence to actually survive, its inventor had to willingly vanish from the network they built. This anonymity ensures the invention belongs to no one, fulfilling the crypto community's ethos: we are all Satoshi.